Alright, it's 2024, meaning it's a new year and new games to play. And as always, I'm running into the classic problem of too many good games to play and not enough time to play them. In this Off the Wall Wednesdays video, I will mention the games that excite me the most. So much so that I'm most likely going to cover them in some form or way on this channel. And other games that look interesting to me and I might cover or stream as well. I would also like to hear from you. What games are you looking forward to in 2024? Let me know. I might have missed them in this video. The first one that we'll mention is kind of a surprise to even me. Black Myth Wukong. This game was teased a couple of years ago and it had the whole gaming community shook. My favorite playthrough creators were instantly hyping it up, and rightly so. As more and more details and gameplay demos came out, the more it looks like a Game of the Year candidate. Black Myth Wukong is an action-adventure RPG rooted in Chinese mythos, mainly based on the story Journey to the West. It's regarded as a classic Chinese novel that stood the test of time. So much so that a lot of popular anime characters are based on the main character of Journey to the West. One of the reasons why I say this was a surprise to me is the fact that I have a hard time finishing adventure games, which is why I rarely ever buy them. The first God of War that released on PS4 took me a year to finish, and I'm only halfway done with Ragnarok even though I got it on release. I barely even scratched the first Spider-Man game. Don't get me wrong, I grew up on action-adventure games like Kingdom Hearts 2 and Ninja Gaiden, even though it was years after they initially released since they were cheaper for my mom to buy. Growing up now, I don't have much time and I like to spend it on online shooters, but I think Black Myth Wukong could change that for me. Shoot, I'm even thinking about reading Journey to the West in anticipation to its release. Let me know if you guys are liking what you're seeing too. It's giving huge Dark Souls / Sekiro influence, but based on a story that's unique enough to give players a completely different experience. So of course, I already marked my calendar for August 2024, which is its intended release. Before I talk about the next game, I want to give honorable mentions to Marathon. I, like many gamers right now, have no clue what the gameplay of Marathon looks like, but we're hyped for it nonetheless. With recent news of Bungie's layoffs, the chances of Marathon releasing in 2024 is very low, but we might get a playtest or two before 2025. The main reason why I'm looking forward to Marathon is the same reason why I'm excited for Arc Raiders this year. They look like extraction shooters that aren't Tarkov clones. With the success of the finals, I'm impressed with Embark Studios. They show that they can make a well-polished game that is fun, innovative, and be well received by players. I hope the same applies to Arc Raiders. Some info about Arc Raiders is out, but I'm hoping that it isn't a Tarkov clone. And don't get me wrong, I have no issues with Tarkov, mainly because I haven't even played it yet. But these types of games have been hyped as the next BR boom, and it seems that the industry thinks so too, since there's 20 plus extraction shooters announced in development, and a lot of them just kind of look like copy and paste Tarkov with a few gimmicks, which makes me skeptical about the extraction shooter boom. Look at battle royales right now. Apex, Fortnite, Warzone, and PUBG, yes, PUBG, are very popular yet vastly different in terms of gunplay, movement, and what you can do in them. I'm hoping that Arc Raiders or Marathons will do to extraction shooters what Apex did to BRs. Apex introduced solutions like being able to respawn teammates and a ping system that greatly helped with team play, especially with those no mic having teammates. Even Warzone has a cool second life feature called a gulag. You'll be surprised how many extraction shooters I've played that don't have many second chance opportunities, which is why I'm hoping Marathon and Arc Raiders could bring these types of games to present day and solve some of the issues that are inherent with extraction shooters. I'm still kind of skeptical on the future of these types of games. However, that all kind of changed when I started playing Dark and Darker. Even though it's not an extraction shooter, it made me realize the potential that extraction shooters could have if done right. I'll bundle the next two games together, mainly because I'm sure the members of this channel already have heard of them. It's Valorant on mobile and console. I'm looking forward to Valorant's release on these platforms because it will either cement Riot Games as the GOATs in gaming development, or I will have the time of my life laughing at all the console players struggling to hit one-taps on my shorts feed. I know precise gunplay has been memed to death, but trying to make Valorant work on mobile and console seems like a hard task to do in my opinion. Well, maybe the mobile version could work, but the console might be a little bit tricky. Look at CSGO, it too has failed on console. It would be interesting if they plan on adding aim assist and crossplay as well, all of which could be tricky to solve. Riot Games rarely ever misses when it comes to having successful games, and if they can make Valorant pop on console, then I think it will cement them as the GOATs of gaming, because a good chunk of gamers play on console, a market that Riot Games hasn't really took over yet, like they have with PC gamers. It would be interesting if this could help Valorant close the gap with Fortnite's popularity too. One of the main reasons why Fortnite is so big is because it's on every platform. Well, used to be on every platform. Nonetheless, best believe I will cover Valorant's launch on mobile and console. The next couple of games I'm looking forward to, but might not cover on this channel, one of which is Dogma 2. I haven't played the original, but I've heard amazing things about it. It came out around 2012, and it slowly grew an audience that made it a cult classic. Despite releasing in 2012, it doesn't look too bad. The sequel has been gaining a lot of buzz because of those who played the original had nothing but praise for it. Typically, people refer to the original as a game ahead of its time. Now we have to talk about Fable 4. I played the original a couple of years after its initial release. I got it as a hand-me-down from my cousin who no longer wanted his Xbox 360 because the Xbox One just came out at the time. And as a middle schooler, I had a blast with it nonetheless. Being able to customize your character's abilities as well as the choice to make them more evil or good towards the end of the journey made the replayability a little bit more fun. It's been reported that Fable 4 is intended to be a new beginning for the series, which could either mean a reboot or just a chance for the franchise to take a step into modern gaming. Kinda like how Kingdom Hearts 3 did for their franchise. Next is Skull and Bones. I'm always a little hesitant with online Ubisoft games, but this one looks hopeful. I know a lot of people will say this game will compete with Sea of Thieves, and I'm sure there will be some overlap. Both are open world games with pirates. However, I see Skull and Bones more like a naval warfare, while Sea of Thieves is more of a pirate-themed adventure. I'm just keeping my eye out on this game. Still kinda on the fence though. These next games will be shooters that caught my eye, and this one is called Delta Force Hawk Ops. It looks like a game that's trying to do everything when it comes to first-person shooters, where there will be a single-player campaign based on the movie Black Hawk Down and several PvP game modes, including an extraction shooter. It's like they're trying their best to be Call of Duty and Battlefield, but with a lot more polish with each of their game modes. Hazard Operation is what they're calling their extraction game mode, where teams of 3 will gear up, capture critical information and treasure while navigating to extraction points. Havoc Warfare is a global team battle, which may be their take on Battlefield combat, where players will be on the land, air, and sea fighting with assault ships, battle tanks, armored vehicles, and much more. There will also be classes too. I'm not a fan of big team battles because they're typically a bit too chaotic for me to feel like I'm having a major impact on the outcome of a game. So I'll be focusing on the extraction shooter mode and see what they do with it. Additionally, we have Greyzone Warfare, which has been appearing a lot on my YouTube feed lately. Many people are saying this game is a high-quality Tarkov-like extraction shooter featuring the classic PvPvE gameplay where people go in to loot and fight other players. It has a permanent world, meaning that the map will always have people spawning in at different times. It will not go to sleep, so there will be no time limit. The devs have said players could go hours without finding another person. But there will be hotspots that promote PvP. And like Tarkov, you'll be in charge with managing your inventory, energy, stamina, hydration, and injuries. This game will be in Unreal Engine 5, which might make the visuals that you see on screen possible in real time if your GPU is updated. There will also be 48 players per map. And even though it's 2024, there's still Battle Royales coming out. One of them I'm interested in is Mini Royale. It's a battle royale with toys. It reminds me of Hypercharger Unboxed, which was pushed all over Twitter a few months ago. I guess they're going for full-blown nostalgia, and I'm falling for it. Everyone will have a grapple, so the movement will be okay. There's going to be all sorts of weapons with attachments, trains, and remote control cars. Basically, it's a child's playground. The gameplay, from what I've seen, is like PUBG, but with an arcadey feel to it. I'll probably check it out in the future for a couple of runs here and there. Lastly, we will talk about the Division 2 Heartland. It's a third-person extraction shooter. It's going to be free to play with, you guessed it, a PvEVP focus. You'll get to explore and complete missions with and against other players. I always like third-person POV games in general when it comes to the visuals. It's usually the gunplay that's kind of lacking when comparing them to first-person shooters. But Fortnite nowadays shows that you can mix both first-person and third-persons pretty well. Regardless, this will be another extraction shooter I'll keep my eye out on. Let me know what games you are excited for in 2024. I always try to reply to each comment left within 48 hours of the video being uploaded. But till next time, stay safe and I'll see you guys later.